Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Rise up, be me. Let's talk a little bit about the soul's journey. It's hard for people to understand what is the soul's journey, but I can only explain it in my story really, and it might make sense to your own story. Certain things happen and you don't know why they happen. Is there a form of coincidences? I think not. What I've discovered is everything is happening for a reason, but it's trying to understand what is that reason. As you've heard me say on many of my YouTube, hairdresser, makeup artist, photographer, and all of that, that's the world of fashion. I then meet someone, a girlfriend, and it was in that point within my life where that's when depression started to happen. That's when the dark night of the soul started to kick in. But it was so interesting of being with somebody at that particular point because that was the agreement that we was supposed to meet. Because what that did is it took me on a different journey. So I went from fashion, and because of the problem that I went through, my girlfriend at that particular time just said, why don't we go and see some spiritual people and have a look at maybe they may have your answer. So again, I was being led down a different pathway. But if I'd said no, I'm not interested in taking that route, I would have never have discovered a lot of things about myself. So how many of you have the opportunity or have had the opportunity to move into a different direction, but you never took it? I now understand now that everything is an opportunity. And if I hadn't have taken them opportunities, as I said, Beamism wouldn't have come to light. So I went to the spiritual colleges to see whether or not they had my answer, and there was a fascination there, I must admit. It was something that was obviously completely different. I've gone from a world of fashion, and now I'm talking with people that are talking about this invisible force, this presence of spirit connection and communication. Kind of leads you open to this mind of like, I just don't know what's going on here. But I'm glad I took that route. I'm glad I went that way. And I think for anyone that is going through depression and mental health, head towards that way if that's being shown to you. Whatever is being shown to you, it's saying to you, come this way, walk this way. Have a look at what this is saying. At the time, I felt a presence, and I needed to understand what was this presence, what was this feeling that I was sensing. It was awful, and I knew there was something around me because I could just feel the air change. I could just feel the atmosphere change. And I used to think, what on earth is this? What's going on? So trying to understand what is that feeling can lead you off down a different pathway completely. How many of you actually changed? How many of you had the guts, it seems, to be able to move away from something or all of a sudden decide to do something different? Do you think that's you that's doing that? No, it's not. I think the intelligence of the body is making you do things that sometimes you don't really want to do. And I found out that I was fighting against the energy and the intelligence of my body, and so therefore I put the handbrake on. So I call it the handbrake to the soul, really, because the soul has come here to experience everything that it can because it loves that stuff. It loves the experience of life. But the idea behind it is to be able to follow it because it is leading you into a different direction. Here's how it works. When your energy is down, it's telling you it's time to change. It's like a relationship. When the energy has gone within that relationship, I wish people had the understanding that says, you know what, this doesn't work. It's time to move on. And it would be nice if everyone understood the soul's journey and said, okay, I understand what you're saying. And I think that's the true meaning behind if you love them, let them go. I mean, I never truly understood what that means. If you love them, let them go. It's like, that just doesn't make sense to me. But if you truly love them, and you truly understand the soul's journey, and you let them go, because there's parts in their journey that they're needing to fulfill. There's something within them, something within their DNA, there's something within their spirit that's saying, okay, it's worked for a while, but it doesn't work now. And how many times have you moved away from something only to find that it was the right move? But what was the fear? The fear stopped you from moving on, didn't it? And so therefore, I've heard so many people turn around and say, better the devil that you know than you don't. Something like that, whatever the saying is. I followed that. I always tried to follow my feelings. It didn't matter what I had or what was going on. I was willing to give things up because I just couldn't fight this feeling any longer. And so therefore it took me on a pathway, it took me on a journey, it showed me a different direction, and it gave me a completely different experience. Yes, it was daunting. I must admit I didn't know where I was going. But the excitement from that was, okay, it's an adventure. So what I did was I didn't have any preconceived idea of where it was going. That's one thing you must understand. It's like anything. When you're 5 years old, you don't know where your journey's going. When you're 10, you don't know where your journey's going. You could be 30, 40 years old. You still do not know where your journey's going. So we don't know the end result. But let's call it this. Let's go to the ultimate. What is the end result? You're not going to live forever. You're not going to be here forever. So that's your end result. So what do you do between here and now? Because that's the end result. The end result is not about meeting somebody or getting a house and all of them things. They're just things that you have or got to have along the way. But trying to understand your own energy and your own feelings is very important at this moment. And it's like so many people that you can meet, they can stop you from growing. They can stop you from evolving into the being that you want. And I hear so many people say, well, I'm going into spirituality, but the husband or the wife doesn't like it. They don't want me to get into it. And so therefore they kind of bring you back down, don't they? It's the same with the parent-child. The child wants to do something, but the parent says, no, you've got to do this, and you're going to do the family business, and they want you to do what they're doing. But that's not the way. So if you love them, you let them go. If you love them, it means that you are understanding their soul's journey and that they're here for their own reasons. And if we love them, then we let them go. Now, letting them go means you're not in control of them. You can still be around with them. You can still be in a relationship with them, but you have to allow them to do what it is that they feel that they need to do. Go along within that journey. Just agree to them to do whatever it is. And that's taken me a long time to understand that. If somebody says to me, well, I want to take up stock car racing or drag racing or whatever be the thing. They want to drive fast cars, but they've never been in that situation before. So you have two choices. You can either argue with them and tell them that they're stupid and why do you want to do that? That's ridiculous. Or you can encourage them to follow their dream. And I think that's what's missed from a lot of people. And I think that's the true meaning behind if you love them, let them go, which means let them become free. Don't try to control anything that they're trying to do. You know, of course, there's a limit. You know, if it's going to be very damaging to you, of course, there is a limit. And what I've discovered is if the person wants to do a certain thing and I feel that it's not part of my journey, then I'll have to let them go. And it's as simple as that. And I have done that so many times to my own detriment, it seems at that particular time, to my own broken heart. But it's amazing how it happens. And you know that we say, if you let them go, then they'll come back and all of these things. That is so true because, you know, there was a time when I was really in love with this girlfriend of mine and I really loved her. But that love became a little bit too controlling. See what I'm saying? And so therefore, I knew that my own ego or my own emotional self was very scared about letting this being go. But in the end, I had to find the strength to let them go and do whatever it is that they want to do. Yes, it broke my heart. It truly did. And I suffered for a long time on that agreement that I'd made with myself to say, okay, I can't control this person. It's killing me to do that. So I let them go. Didn't see them for about 2 years, but 2 years later, they came back, and we had an amazing relationship. It wasn't the relationship that we had in the first place. It was a better relationship because this relationship was now all about the soul. And when she came back, it allowed us to heal each other. And so therefore we went into business. I taught her all about photography and makeup and how to achieve something different that she wanted to do. And I helped her with that. And so therefore she had that enjoyment of becoming a photographer herself. So it was very strange how it happened. And we got a great relationship. I don't need to speak to her. I don't need to control her. But if the need ever arises, I can speak to her and she can speak to me. And there's no resentment. There's nothing there. But I do have the love for her and she'll have the love for me because we've had that story together. And why shouldn't you love somebody because they've been in your life? And on a soul level, I know it can seem bad. Sometimes they can do really bad things. Let's say the worst nightmare is that they had an affair, right? That's a really horrible situation to be in, isn't it? But now when I look at it, from them breaking away and wanting to gain their own freedom, it also gave me my own freedom. And I can thank them for that because it took me on a different journey. They went on a different journey, but then we can meet back up and speak about that journey. So the soul's journey is very, very important. As I say, if you really do love somebody, then it's enabling them to do what it is that they want to do without you trying to control it. So for me, it kind of brings an attitude where you say, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, yeah, fine. Go do that in whatever way that you want to do it. Yes, it can hurt, I must admit, but I went into that pain and said, okay, this is my pain. I need to deal with it. And so therefore, it taught me how to deal with the pains that I was feeling. So if you can understand when you hear me speak about balancing my emotions and become mindfully empty and be my experience, they are statements that have taken me a long time to understand. You know, you hear many spiritual people, many spiritual gurus turn around and say, you know, you have to speak from the heart. Well, to get to that point of the heart takes a very long time to understand. But what you've got to understand to be able to understand your heart is that you have to understand the process of the soul's journey. And if you can truly 100% trust that, and trust me when I say this, at that particular time, there is a change happening. You can't trust it. But stop and think about it, people. When that has happened to you and your story has moved on, can you not see that when that happened in the past, that it was the best thing to do? Honestly, really think about it. Did they not set you free? Did you not experience different things rather than being captured and caught and living a life of fear or feeling depressed for the rest of your life? Surely there must be something in there. Put it in the comments in below. What happened? What changed within you when you found that moment within yourself that you relied on yourself and that you believed in yourself and that you followed your true feelings? If you can follow the true feelings, I discovered beamism and healing and a completely different code to life. So what will you discover? This is the thing. This life is about self-discovery. And if you can understand something about yourself that you never knew about yourself, then isn't that a brilliant way to live your life? My name is Trevor, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.